Shalom, my brothers and sisters. Shalom. Shalom. This is Watchman's Voice, Remnant and Martyrs. Watchman's Voice, Remnant and Martyrs. This message is to Yashar'al, commonly known as Israel, true Yashar'al, nation of believers. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah, and Yashar'al, true Israel, nation of believers, of whom I reference, are all kindreds and tongues who seek to worship and obey the Almighty Yahuwah and accept Yahushua as our Mashiach. It is you who I consider my brothers, my sisters, my family. Again, all those who seek to worship and obey the Almighty Creator, the Almighty Father Yahuwah, and accept Yahushua as Mashiach. For it is through Yahushua we are made one, that we are indeed family. This is the 13th segment, the 13th installment of Watchman's Voice, Remnant and Martyrs. And in this, I want to address timing, placement, and attendance. Again, that's timing, placement, and attendance. My brothers and sisters, there is no secret by now of my position. I am compelled to believe we are in the last days and end times are before us. As end time prophecy unfolds and proof emerges, we will see proof that we are facing the most critical times in our lives. I honestly do not believe most of us have given pause or received discernment and understanding of what is really about to occur in the foreseeable future. While many of us have discovered the face of what's to come, it will be wise to begin coming to grips with the importance of timing, placement, and attendance. I have stated there will come a time when many will become displaced. I used the terms in times past, forced passage, safe passage, and often forced transition. There's no secret that I have also emphasized the need for us to start growing and learning the voice of the Spirit of Yahushua, our Mashiach. I am compelled to continue echoing the fact that Yashar'al will be gathered from the four corners of the earth. Also, in many of my recordings, one can discover my belief as it relates to martyrs being prepared as well for these end times. My brothers and sisters, with any movement comes instructions and guidance. We will be able to discern and understand when to move, how to move, what to take, where to go, and we will receive living instructions. Today is November 5th, 2013, as I mentioned at the beginning of this passage. At least I believe I did. This morning I was waking up from a sleep. It was as though the Spirit of Yahushua was telling me that the 144,000 mentioned in Revelation have been sealed and are unaware at this time of their identity. He brought to mind the Fukushima event where radioactive waste is pouring into the sea of the Pacific Ocean, and it is pretty much destroying and killing the sea. He brought to mind the 7th chapter of Revelation, where it was told to wait and not harm the sea until the 144,000 were sealed. And I believe, my brothers and sisters, I am coming to lean towards the belief that the sea, the Pacific Ocean, is being destroyed. And if that be the case, the 144,000 have been sealed. I believe in my prayer, it was as though the Spirit of Yahushua was saying they have been sealed, many of whom are unaware who they are. As I pondered and prayed, it appeared to me as though the Spirit of Yahushua was informing me that those that will be martyrs will represent a larger number than the remnant that will go to a safe place in these last days. I really did not have a clue in my mind or spirit to the size of the remnant or those that would be martyrs in times past. I honestly didn't. Yes, I was aware of the scriptures mentioning 144,000, but I honestly didn't know how that would come to be. I only knew as much as I read, and I placed the matter before the altar of the Most High, waiting years and years believing that one day he will bring to my understanding. In my prayer, my brothers and sisters, this marked a different chapter in my journey. And I am now leaning towards believing that those gathered from the four corners of the earth will total 144,000. They have been sealed, many of which that are unaware, and they are being prepared. Additionally, I have come to lean towards the pool or number of those who would be martyrs in the foreseeable future will outnumber those gathered from the four corners of the earth. I present to you what has stirred in my spirit, what my experience was, my brothers and sisters. May you pray for me, may you pray for these words, and seek righteous understanding, discernment, and if these words are not true, that they may become a memory. They just pass. But if these words are true, my brothers and sisters, let us prepare and gird up. This series, Watchman's Voice, Remnant and Martyrs, will conclude after the 16th installment. This, as I mentioned, is the 13th installment. If I am correct and I receive mercy and favor and guidance, then I will be successful in producing the remaining installments in the coming days that will bring the total to 16. Upon completion of the remaining installments of this series, Watchman's Voice, Remnant and Martyrs, upon completion, the next series will be directed specifically towards the 144,000 and a multitude of those who will be martyrs. My brothers and sisters, like with anything, we desire proof and evidence of truth. I do not have any proof nor evidence to present other than what you have witnessed from me and what scriptures I am compelled to present. I ask that each of you lift these messages up before the Mashiach. Seek confirmation as to whether these words are true or not. I invite you to examine each message thoroughly and pray. Pray for righteous discernment and understanding. I do not know of any other direction to turn at this point and will continue to press forward with the intent to worship and obey my Mashiach, my Messiah, Yahushua, through his set-apart spirit. Will I make mistakes along the way? Yes, indeed I will. I understand that the flesh will continue to fight against the spirit within, but I thank the Almighty Father Yahuwah for sending his set-apart spirit in Yahushua's name. I say, hallelujah, for atoning power and regeneration provided by the set-apart spirit of Yahushua. Thank you, O Father, my Father, Almighty One. With expected movement among believers to increase in the coming foreseeable future, I know unequivocally that some will get left behind. Yes, left behind, meaning as we move from one point to the next, there will be those left behind. There will also be those who will be left behind who thought they would be participating in this gathering from the four corners and come to realize that they will not. Various reasons will exist for those who are ordered to stay behind and face martyrdom, to those who are overtaken by unbelief and rebellion. As pertaining to those who have no desire to worship and obey the Almighty Father Yahuwah and reject Yahushua as Mashiach, a different experience awaits you. Movement will include many words of instructions, guidance, reproof, discipline, judgment, and much proof, my brothers and sisters, as well as we will witness the hand of the Almighty Father, his wrath in some cases. But keep in mind, my brothers and sisters, we were not appointed to wrath, but we are instructed and appointed to worship and obey him. Our biggest challenge will consist of escaping unbelief and growing to discern the voice of the Spirit of Yahushua as he speaks through us one towards another. When righteous words are presented to us by our Mashiach, our Messiah, Yahushua, we will either be ordered to move or be still. And of course, there will always be those who fit into the category of being stiff-necked and rebellious. In this 13th installment, I was compelled to highlight a significant parable written in the 13th chapter of Matthew. Interesting. I did not see the correlation of the 13th installment in the 13th chapter until now, as I was typing my notes for this recording. Well, it is not about me, not at all. It is not about me. It is, however, about being obedient to the Almighty One who gives me breath, a heartbeat, and so much more. It is about my worship and obedience to Yahushua, my Mashiach, my Messiah. It's about him being lifted up and watching him draw all men to himself. If anything righteous proceed out of my mouth, may Yahushua, my Mashiach, get all the credit and esteem. With this said, let us now examine the 13th chapter of Matthew, specifically verses 3 through 23. And they read as follows. And he spoke to them much in parables, saying, See, the sower went out to sow. And as he sowed, some indeed fell by the wayside, and the birds came and devoured them. And others fell on rocky places, where they did not have much soil, and immediately they sprang up because they had no depth of soil. But when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered. And others fell among thorns, and thorns came up and choked them. And others fell on good soil, and yielded a crop, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. We continue on with verse 10. And the taught ones came and said to him, Why do you speak to them in parables? And he answered and said to him, Because it has been given to you to know the secrets of the reign of the heavens, but to them it has not been given. For whoever possesses, to him more shall be given, and he shall have overflowingly. But whoever does not possess, even what he possesses shall be taken away from him. Because of this I speak to them in parables, because seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand. And in them the prophecy of Yashar'al, or Isaiah for some, is completely fulfilled, which says, Hearing you shall hear, and by no means understand, and seeing you shall see, but by no means perceive. Here, my brothers and sisters, we witness where there will be those who will not be able to understand. Yes, they'll hear, they will not be able to comprehend. I pray that none of us fall into that category. Moving on. Matthew 13:15 reads, For the heart of this people has become thickened, and their ears are hard of hearing, and their eyes they have closed. Lest they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, lest they should understand with their heart and turn back, and I heal them. And blessed are your eyes because they see, your ears because they hear. For truly I say to you that many prophets and righteous ones long to see what you see and did not see, and to hear what you hear and did not hear. You then hear the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the reign and does not understand it, then the wicked one comes and snatches away what was sown in his heart. This is that sown by the wayside. And that sown on rocky places is he who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy. Yet he has no root in himself, but is short-lived when the pressure and persecution arise. My brothers and sisters, 20, as it talks about the seed sown on rocky places where someone heard and they received it with joy, but had no root, this describes many who are overzealous, over anxious, who step out too quickly, too abruptly, without a strong and solid foundation, and as a result become discouraged. Pray and see, do you concur? Do you agree with this assessment? 13:21-23 reads, Yet he who has root in himself, but short-lived, and when pressure... Okay, I read 21, I'm sorry. Moving to 22. Oh, I'm sorry, 21, I want to read it. It says, sown on rocky places, yet has no root, 21, but is short-lived when pressure and persecution arise because of the word, immediately he stumbles. 13:22 reads, And that sown among the thorns is he who hears the word, and the worry of this age and deceit of riches choke the word, and it becomes fruitless. You see, my brothers and sisters, hearing without understanding can be dangerous. And 23 says, and that sown on the good soil. Remember, soil, good soil. Are we earthen bodies? Have we been made from the dirt? Those who are joined with the Father, are we not good earthen vessels? Are we not good soil? Let me read 13:23. And he that is sown on the good soil is he who hears the word and understands it, who indeed bears fruit and yields, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. My brothers and sisters, upon examining these scriptures, we see in each case hearing of the word took place. But what occurred after hearing was something different in each scenario. In other words, given the conditions, something different resulted. A different outcome per se was witnessed. Those by the wayside heard but didn't understand. The wicked one took it away. Rocky places, they heard, received the joy, but no root, short-lived by pressure and stumblings. Among the thorns, heard but worry, deceit and riches overcame them. The good soil, here, understands, bears fruit and yields 100-fold, some 60. I am compelled to believe that in these last days, these end times, we should take under consideration our abilities to hear and respond with accuracy. Timing, placement, and attendance will prove to be critical in the coming foreseeable future. There was a time in days of old when Yashar'al became confident in their battles. They were winning, they were conquering. But then there was a time when they stepped outside the guidance of the Most High Father Yahuwah. As a result, the Almighty Father Yahuwah was not with them, and many died because of wrong timing, placement, and attendance. I invite you to read the 14th chapter of Numbers for confirmation with a specific attention to the 43rd verse. I will read that one. The 43rd verse says, because of the Amalekites and the Canaanites are there before you, and you shall fall by the sword, because you have turned away from Yahuwah. Yahuwah is not with you. Consider reading that whole chapter, 14th chapter. That was Numbers, and that was 43 that I just read. We know that in the days of Noah and Lot, there were those who were clueless when it came to timing, placement, and attendance. They became the victims of destruction due to their wickedness and evil doings. It would be wise, my brothers and sisters, to pray on any righteous words we receive concerning improving our worship and obedience to the Most High Father through a set-apart spirit sent in Yahushua's name. Let us be mindful that he may speak through us one towards another. I recommend that we seek to improve our communication skills among one another. I suggest that we strongly consider repeating to one another what it is we interpret from one another's words. Whether we quote a person accurately or we say things like, it sounds to me as though you're saying, or I think you're saying, or maybe something like this is what you're trying to say. Let us begin to ask questions among one another. Let us stress the importance of becoming unified, making sure that we're on the same page in our communication. So it may take a little time. We might have to slow the process down a bit. But my brothers and sisters, I cannot stress the importance enough for us to improve our ability to hear. Hear what the Spirit of Yahushua is saying to us individually and collectively, one towards another. Let us pray and seek to improve our communication skills. If you remember in the verse I read in Matthew 13 chapter, each specific condition regarding seeds represented hearing. And it is what happened afterwards. We see some disappointing scenarios for those who do not understand. I am compelled to believe in order for us to truly understand, we must be able to discern, identify what the Spirit of Yahushua is revealing to us, and then and only then can understanding make us fruitful. Anyone who thinks by using any other methods they can please the Most High Father, they are sadly mistaken. Discernment and understanding will contribute to our ability to respond with precision in the coming foreseeable future regarding end-time movement. When we respond, timing is of the essence. Where we respond, placement is critical. And who will be in attendance will prove to be very important as proof emerges. Remember, we are reminded that some people will get it or come to understand before others, thus the symbolism of first fruits. My brothers and sisters, we use all types of communication methods in today's society. Let us still begin to practice sharpening our abilities to communicate with accuracy, whether it be in texting, typing, recordings, telephones, print, whatever the case may be. If at all possible, let us begin to take the time to ask questions of one another to ensure that we are on the same page. Yes, my brothers and sisters, let us practice. I cannot stress this enough. The importance of our methods for communication will prove to be very critical as end times intensify. Practice, practice, and practice some more over time. It will become almost automatic, so to speak. Timing, placement, and attendance will be critical in the wake of famine, drought, pestilence, and disease. Remember, as I stated in times past, as end time prophecies intensify, people will scramble and begin to fight over food, water, repellents for pestilence, fight over a safe place to get away from pestilence or the spread of diseases, and possibly even fight in war over remedies, whether it be man-made or natural, to combat the emerging diseases that are foretold in end time prophecies. Yes, my brothers and sisters, I urge each and every one of us, let us begin to practice improving our communication skills. Let us be mindful how timing, placement, and attendance will play a critical role in these end times. My brothers and sisters, Yashar'al, or remnant of Yashar'al, and those that would be martyrs, never forget, a beacon and or warnings can and will be repetitive. They will repeat over and over and over again until their use is no longer needed. If my words appear to be repetitive, or if I appear to be repeating the same message, then I am doing what I am tasked to perform. I can only continue to pray and seek the living instructions from my Mashiach, my Messiah, knowing that he will reprove me when I'm wrong, he will discipline me when necessary, and execute judgment when appropriate to him. I seek to humbly worship and obey him. Be encouraged, my brothers and sisters. There will come a time when these messages will prove to be useful to many. May our Mashiach, our Messiah, Yahushua, be esteemed and get credit for making alive any and all that is righteous before our ears. And may we grow to understand, to receive, to discern, to understand his living instructions, guidance, warnings, and may we come to obey him. May out of our demonstration of worship and obedience, Yahushua is lifted up, and he will draw all men to himself, as stated in Scripture. Until next time, Yashar'al, remnant and martyrs, continue to press towards the high calling of which each of us have been designed to respond. Until next time, I pray that you come, that each of us come, that we come to embrace the importance of hearing and know how critical timing, placement, and attendance will be in the coming days. Until next time, my family, stay tuned as we continue this series of Watchman's Voice, Remnant and Martyrs. Stay tuned for the 14th installment to follow in the coming days, prayerfully within the next 24 hours. It is now November 5th, 2013. The time is 4:37 p.m. Central Time. Until next time, my brothers and sisters, be encouraged. Shalom, shalom, shalom.